podcast you cheer for. Sneaker, business, talk. It's the Soul Material Podcast.
And welcome to the Soul Material Podcast, the podcast you cheer for. I'm your man, the OGEO.
All right, it's T Mark, the Street Sharp.
Yes, sir. Welcome to that sneaker business talk. We're going to do something a little bit different, a little bit fun, in which we are going to talk about the jerseys. And, it's getting warm outside and during spring and summertime, usually for us people that are on the East Coast where we have our 4 seasons of climate. You can see those jerseys come out during the warm weather months. And I wanted myself and the Shark to dive into our favorite jerseys and why. Maybe some story time. Maybe there's some historical references or something with our childhoods about the jerseys that we like most seeing out here. But I am excited about this one so we can have a little bit of contrast and comparisons and debate and so forth. So Shark, why don't you kick it off with however angle you want to take it, as many layers as far as the Jersey game, and we were there during the peak of the Mitchell and Ness and the throwback era, and then seeing how things have kind of tailed it down and so forth. So however you want to tackle it, I'm following the leader here. So let's talk about jerseys and let's kick it.
Yeah, well, I can't talk about the jersey without the whole uniform too. So sometimes the inspiration is the shorts as well. So if you listen to the podcast you cheer for, you've heard me talk about me collecting shorts as well. Shout out to some of my favorite brands like 19.9 for the college basketball shorts, and then always finding deals with the Mitchell and Ness. So definitely topping these things now. They flooded the market with so much, and there's so many sales going on. Like you're getting either the swingman replicas or even sometimes the authentic ones. Paying $40-$50 a pop for these things. So yep. So that being said, really, this year, there's always especially with the teams, NBA being sponsored by Nike, you got your city edition jerseys where each year, multiple, markets, not all of them, but multiple markets have city edition jerseys. That's something that means something special to the city. So our home team, Washington Wizards, always has some iterations of cherry blossom. So this year, I think we went extra 2 pink this year, like the powder pink and some touches, in the past, it's pretty cool, but we went, full, real, it was a rich, cherry blossom,
like electric pink almost.
Yeah, it was like electric highlighter almost, the court and some of the, accessories that they had was, for the, pretty, it was okay, I give it a B, B minus, but with other cities around the league, I like some of the throwbacks, like with the Memphis Grizzlies having the Vancouver Grizzly ones, and then the Milwaukee Bucks actually having the the purple Bucks, like the big dog Bucks, I like those, always had a sweet spot for the Bucks. One of my favorite jerseys of all time was the alternate Bucks jersey that actually had the deer on there, with Ray. I can just see Ray Allen rocking that with some Air Moneys or something like that. It was around that time. So that's a special one for me. Talked about my dad is a hunter, so anytime something with a deer on it or whatever is always always sparks up nostalgia for me. But I remember those, I don't think we're gonna see those type of jerseys ever again with the big print on them, like the Atlanta Hawks with just the big hawk on there. You know what I'm saying? And but just really, with the Toronto Raptors, which is just the Raptor on there. So I don't think that we're gonna get the big, overblown stuff, but kind of I'd like to see more teams, now that we got other market teams like a Sacramento where they're, got some steam lighting the beam over there. So maybe they get some extra shelf space on some jerseys next year, and you know, I always like the split Sacramento Kings, you know, with the purple and black, even the split with the checkerboard as well. You know what I'm saying? That's a little Mitch Richmond, little Jason Williams around there. You know that little crossover time when Sacramento started to ascend. You know, right before they got Chris Webber and everything like that. So, yeah, I mean, I just gave you a little past and present. You know, what you think about OG?
We were in high school, I think, during the peak time that you're talking about, in which the design of jerseys and so forth, and even how outrageous they may have been. You mentioned Sacramento one. They become classics in their own right. And I always just looked at the diversity of the jersey. And I recall me being in love with the hockey St. Louis jersey, with particularly the home one with the music emblem in the front of it. Oh my gosh. And at a time in which, you know, you had so many brands, whether it was Starter or Chalkline, that were doing, you know, their own renditions of the jersey, even having a license. And so Champion. So I'm going back into that bag, and always loved the Los Angeles Kings hockey jersey. And I'm a fool for pinstripes. So when it came to that, definitely give me a home Cubs jersey with the blue pinstripe with the bill. Oh my gosh. And then, of course, the Charlotte Hornets, Orlando Magic in the 90s, still have an original game worn sand knit warm up of wasn't Scott Skiles. I forgot the guard it was that made the team. But perfect size with the pinstripes on the actual shoulders and on the sleeves, black joint. And before Mitchell Ness kind of went crazy with the remaking of all of usually the 90s, 2000s models, it was really good going on a hunt to get these pro cut, if you will, or game worn warm-up jackets, jerseys, and so forth. And I'm just a part of that era and that nostalgia of getting those things. But all across sports, talking about football, man, I'm more of a classic jersey person when it comes to football. So give me the Chiefs back. Rest in peace to Derek Thomas during that time. Of course, they kind of kept their jersey the same, with just a basic red or basic white. And of course, being from Washington, D.C., give me anything from an Art Monk to a Darryl Green or Gary Clark or Ricky Irvin's jersey from the Redskin era. And I'm good with that. But during the summertime, definitely, I see myself just pulling out stuff from the vault. And some things I realize that because of work schedule and so forth, I don't get to wear everything. So it may be, 2-3 summers that I pull something like, I haven't worn it since 2000 and blah, blah, blah. So with being a collector, I guess on that end more, now that I think about it, it's just cool to go back and reminisce about acquiring these jerseys, being a kid, seeing this on TV, saying just one day when I get grown, and having those kind of moments, and throwing that on your chest and having that feeling, even if it's just for a second. It's a good feeling to have, man. And I'm a dude that I always rocked the T-shirt underneath the jersey. Back in the day, we wore, I guess, the long john shirt with the color or alternative color of the jersey, and just going back into those times. But you mentioned the Raptors jersey, dope. The Vancouver jersey, which is dope. But I was always the warm-up jacket person, because I always loved the introductions as a kid, watching the lights go down and watch whatever hieroglyphics or whatever. Now it's kind of corny back then, but back then it was amazing to see, the laser lights and so forth. So again, being from Washington, D.C., that classic Washington Bullets, short sleeve, home or away, the Weber era, even before then, with the Michael Adams and Bernard King era. It's just so many that you could choose from, man. But again, when it gets warm, it's time to bring them out, and having nostalgia of having those pro cut jerseys still, because the quality of those, Tony, was just amazing. So you're talking about the Magic. Orlando Magic came in the league in 1988-89, and still have an original piece from that time that's still pristine, and I miss that. So a lot of things with Mitchell Ness, if you are really into it, you see how some things may be screen printed, some things may be off a little bit. So I'm still on the hunt on eBay and Grailed and all these other sites there to try to see who had something in their basement, in their garage that Uncle such and such had and so forth had. So I'm always on that hunt from a jersey standpoint to get an original. But they're here to stay. We were here during the peak where it just exploded and imploded, particularly again, the culture with sneakers and with clothing, with apparel, with hip hop. It goes hand in hand, and it kind of went overboard with the pinwheel hats and everybody rocking jersey and so forth. For me being a sports fan, it was good seeing legends at that time. Even people didn't know who they were, getting love from, I remember 50 Cent with the Willis Reed joint, and my dad used to just go crazy nuts going to the mall with him back in the day. He'd see anybody with any kind of Bill Russell jersey, and you just see him just with a smile on his face almost. So again, it just goes so deep into the history of the game and sports. And it's just cool to just have that moment, whatever your moment is, when you throw these jerseys on.
Yeah, unfortunately, most of the people that during the throwback era, they were just matching up colors or whatever. Like half the people couldn't tell you about who Pee Wee Kirkland was, or knew that Julius Erving played for Virginia Squires. So, let alone Virginia Squires even existing in the first place. So like, and that's why again we give you that clarity over popularity. We talk about how things exist and the layers inside of it. But when it comes to, I'm not gonna get into too many other sports or whatever, just for the sake of time. But when it comes to the basketball and then like the pinstripe, like the 90s pinstripe era, because a lot of teams did it and they just did it different ways. Because if you want to call that original Raptors, that was pinstripe, even though it was kind of jaggedy or whatever. Like that was a pinstripe. Then you had your even like the Houston Rockets, that navy blue, and even with the cartoon rocket itself shooting over the basketball or whatever, however the logo looks, like those type of things. And then even the Bulls, like the fact that the Bulls had a pinstripe, and it was in that black with the red pinstripe, I think that was like the Orlando influence, like immediately. You know what I'm saying? So but just having just those different versions that pop up every now and then. I feel like that's why I can't talk about like football but so much, because they didn't. Most of their alternates are like these throwbacks. They're not really these, alternate colorways, because you get more of that in like college now. Where you have 8 different color combinations. I think the NFL's too commercialized for you, unless it's the individuality of the the cleats for cards or whatever or anything like that. You really can't, other than the color rushes kind of faded and went out, and as well as the Thursday Night Football deal in itself to go to Amazon, like all of that, the Thursday night color rushes didn't different set of eyeballs, so it means a little something different. So don't stress it anymore. Not like we were begging for the all blue Titans or something like that. Or to see like the Jets with just like all white, and you be like, really? But yeah, like even and go back to the hockey, I just love the era of the, whether it was the hockey jerseys, just more just matching up with some colors, whatever. But I really love the different licenses, because you had the college hockey jersey. Like I had a Carolina hockey jersey or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then I had a Florida Panthers hockey jersey, but it was really that red, yellow, navy blue colorway that I really wanted. But that's what I could get out the East Bay magazine for off the discount. But I really wanted that because it was like a Fat Farm hockey jersey at that time, and then you saw like the Tommy hockey jersey. So it was all, lineage from our culture in the different ways that it formed. And then got a little overblown with the throwback, especially the first era of Mitchell and Ness and the pinwheel hats, like you said, because all those jerseys were just 7X, and that was supposed to be cool. But if you rock the jerseys, then you rock them. And then me with the shorts, just catching up with the college basketball, just always loved, some of my favorite players of different teams. So I got the God Sham God Providence Friars joint just 'cause, what I'm saying? I got the Felipe Lopez St. John's joints, you know what I mean? Then I go back and just fill in the collection to get the Mellow Syracuse joints just because they wanted to chip, but then I'll throw in a Kerry Kittle's Villanova, you know what I'm saying? And everything, I had to cop the Steph Curry Davidsons. Once they 1999 got the Davidson license, I had to go get those too. So I got some, the Maryland Juan Dixon joints. You know what I'm saying? So just mix that in with just all these other, basketball shorts that I've copped on the low, just because they've been on sale. But now Mitchell and Ness is doing more college stuff. I think they've seen the wave of the 1999. Now they want in on the on the action
and tell the story behind it as well, which is interesting as well.
So they have the authentics, and now they have mixed in because I saw like the I think it was the 92 UNC shorts, and I was just like, hold on, wait a second, I might have to circle back on these.
So 92 was the Eric Montross, that was the George Lynch and Derek Phelps era, correct? In recent imports.
Yeah, George Lynch. Yeah, because I probably had the quarter zip warm up. Because that was
And speaking of UNC,
like that time all the way up until the Vince Carter. Because Vince was 95, 96.
Cheaters. Hey, dog, just real quick, let's go on a tangent. There's no way you go from Montross and Lynch to, then they went from there, then recruiting, they somehow get Sheed and Stackhouse. Then they immediately get Jameson and Carter. I'm like, come on now, man. Like, I want to get into the books and see what happened. Because there's no way they went back to back to back like that recruiting, and it's clean. I refuse, particularly with Sheed and with Stack. Stack was talking about a power forward guard almost at UNC. Man, oh my goodness.
I mean, Stack came from Oak Hill Academy. I mean, it's, Dean Smith. I had the pleasure of going to the UNC basketball camp, meeting Dean Smith. So I went during that year. So I have the whole Vince Carter and Antoine Jameson, their freshman year. I have the whole roster. I have the whole media book or whatever, everybody's signature. I remember hanging out with them in the student union or whatever, and really, just sitting there and just eating lunch with Vince Carter, hanging out, or hanging out with Antoine Jameson, or you'll see like Ed Cota used to be around, and what's his name, Shamon Williams, so like, those guys, was it Dante Calabria, you know what I mean? But I specifically remember Vince Carter hanging out, and just always being just a people person, just hanging out, because he was always a gym rat and just always around the weight room or whatever. And cause we ended up staying in the dorms for about a week or whatever, so over a week. But I just always remember that time, and then just getting to kick it with Ed Cota and just talk hoops. You know what I'm saying? Antoine, he was kind of quieter around that time. He always was just nice to people, but yeah, just a little nugget in there when it comes to those jerseys. So I always love, I was always a UNC head anyway. So yeah, the Stackhouse jersey. I always had I had the Stackhouse jerseys. I think I won my middle school 2-on-2 basketball championship or something like that. And I, gave away, my partner we rocked the UNC jerseys, where I had the Stackhouse, and then I had the Vince Carter. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
without the name on the back.
Yeah, no, they couldn't, because they definitely couldn't do that. But they came from East, I know they came from East Bay. I can tell you that much. So there you go. Just always want to give you a nostalgic moment. But yeah, when it comes to nowadays with the college, you're not going to get that, but so much, because I see with the NIL deals and the likeliness, like there's like a different version of what like a player that wants to sell their own jersey. It's not the jersey that they're wearing that they sell you now, like the version of what they're doing right now. So they might have to do like this partnership with some other distributor to make a jersey, and so it might look like the same ones that be in them. I don't know how they keep being in these malls or whatever that just got the TV show The Martin and the Will Smith or whatever, the Bel Air.
A little sketchy to me now, Martin.
Like
It's a little sketchy.
those type of shops. I feel like those are the type of independent distribution deals that I see some of these younger athletes are doing. So I'm not mad at it because you get to control it or whatever. But
Mhm.
like now you kind of like shrunk down some of the quality just to put your name on it. So interested to see what that looks like for the future to get those bigger brands on board, because I know like some of the bigger companies like Under Armour with South Carolina. Like if you go to the Under Armour website, like they have T-shirts and jerseys but that's an Under Armour school, so it has to fall under the umbrella for it to work. But if you gotta, so those LSU players that just won the national championship for the
Mhm.
girls, they got their own little jerseys, but each one's a little different. You know what I'm saying? And but it's their name and number, and they can sell it. So go for it. But it's not like Nike. That's a Nike school, but Nike's not. You can't go to their website and buy the jersey like that. So think that that's a targeted opportunity. But jerseys, it's a
And,
thing.
and
They're
really
not
quick,
going anywhere.
and really quick, just wanted to give a shout out to the sophistication of the soccer jersey, and again how you can just diversify the soccer jersey. I've seen guys rock the soccer jersey with slacks and Pradas, or you can go with sweatpants or in shorts and sneakers. Is just something about the soccer jersey, man. And I have a whole ton, and I'm so ignorant. It's about, again, going back in the day where it's all about the colorway. If it look good, I just grab it. But my favorite one is I'm just infatuated with the colors of Gone and how they continue to evolve with their jerseys. So a lot of jerseys look like collar shirts, so depending on how you want to rock it. But shout out, I've not seen one soccer jersey I thought that was quote unquote whack. So shout out to the soccer jerseys across the board. Puma, Nike, all the brands that are doing it.
Yeah,
Adidas, man. Every time I go to
yeah,
the outlets, particularly looking for a soccer jersey.
yeah. Adidas does a good job telling their stories with soccer. It's an international game. It's the most popular sport. It's just that it's just not fully tapped into hip hop. And I think that's what
Mhm.
makes it the dad shoe of jerseys.
Good way
So
to
I
put
think
it.
we'll just go ahead and wrap up on that note. Just wanted to give you an episode. Just talk about the uniforms. You play the games, you're rocking the sneakers, but on and off the court, jerseys are very visible. So we just wanted to give you our take. 'Cause we give you that clarity over popularity here at the podcast you cheer for. So, signing off for another episode. It's T-Bar the Street Shark.
And OGEO, peace to you.
See ya.